My husband blamed me for his infidelity because of my underwear. My husband of 36 and I of 35 years of age have been married for a little less than 2 months. Together for 4 years now. I loved him very much and thought he loved me too. Other than the usual fights and disagreements about boring and mundane chores, we are fine. Never. Our relationship's life was amazing and he told me so very often. He even texted me when we're at work all kind of stuff that made me blush in my office. Friday I had only one morning meeting. Me and my colleagues went for a lunch afterwards and then we decided to go home afterwards. We checked with our supervisor and she said it was fine. I found my husband with another woman in our bed. I started running away in shock and he couldn't really leave the apartment before putting his clothes on. Enough time for me to take the elevator alone. He's been calling and texting me all weekend. I'm at my brother's. My brother and my sister-in-law don't know the details, just that my husband was cheating. This morning my husband came knocking. He begged audience and asked my brother to let him speak to me. My brother asked me if I wanted him to kick my husband out, but I told him that now I wasn't in total shock anymore, maybe I should just hear him out. My brother, Sil, and my baby nephew left for a brunch. My husband looked like he has been crying the whole weekend and wanted to hug me. I told him to stay on his side of the kitchen island and not to come nearer or I would scream. He started first with a half apology and later explained why he was cheating on me. I never made effort for him. I'm always wearing comfortable underwear and never the beautiful type. That's a turn off for him. He felt like I didn't really care. I was stunned and didn't understand what he meant. Why didn't you tell me this? Why not try to buy beautiful lingerie like many men did to their wives? He said he didn't want to offend me by suggesting that my underwear were dull and a turn off. So it was basically my fault that you cheated? He didn't say no. Just looked at me crying his eyes out. I tried to remember what the girl was wearing. I couldn't remember because my eyes went blurry the second I saw them. He asked me what I wanted to do. That we could fix this. He asked me if I wanted to know more about the woman in my bed. She meant nothing. I interrupted him immediately and told him that I was good. Then to get him out I told him I needed time to think, even though I already made up my mind. I just didn't want him to stay longer to try to talk and argue and cry more. He has left now. I don't know what to feel. I never knew underwear were this big of a deal in relationships. I love cotton. Neutral colors. Mostly CK basic. I have a very large chest and honestly any beautiful bra is just a pain in the body having on a whole day always trying to adjust my boobs and the cups. Big-breasted girls will recognize my issue, dealing with all the unsolicited glaring from guys and even girls, when wearing underwear that shows the shape. Plus I don't feel unsexy in my very comfortable undies at all. Not once. I love my body. I work out 5-2 a day and I'm very confident in my own skin. And how could he say that he wasn't satisfied with our relationship's life when we're intimate at least 4 times a week? Was it all a lie when he said that I drove him crazy and how I could turn him on with one look at him? I will never understand men. He gave me a false sense of confidence. And why did I catch them now? Couldn't I do it just 2 months ago? Update. My husband blamed his cheating on me because of my underwear. October 11, 2022. Hi everyone. Since I got so much support last time I was here, I'm back for more attention. I didn't find my story anywhere, but thank goodness I still had the draft on my phone. I have it on my page. I have spoken to a lawyer and unfortunately annulment isn't an option for us even though we have been married for this short period of time. So I filed for divorce instead. My husband was so angry about it. So angry. He thought I was moving on too fast with everything and without even properly hearing him out. What else does he have to say? Did he text me that this couldn't be it, that he won't kiss me again? The last time he hugged and kissed me, I didn't know it was going to be the last time or he wouldn't have let go of me, but then I couldn't have relationships with Miss Pretty Panties, could I? Because I was in my bed with her a couple of hours after our last kiss. He's not the only one thinking that I'm moving too fast though. My family is reserved about it, but I have sensed that they also agreed with my husband about giving it more time. My brother even told me that I was welcomed in his home as long as I wanted, so I didn't need to make any rash decisions. This hurt me. My mother-in-law called me a few times and she apologized and asked how I was doing. Yes, but she had ulterior motives too. She is worried about the financial part of the divorce. She asked me whether I thought being married for under 2 months would make me entitled to my husband's property. I don't know if I can take half when we've been married such a short period of time. I still haven't met my lawyer yet, so I don't know anything about division of property. My husband bought us the apartment we live in. Also, he owns some other properties that we rent out and a small lake cottage. I kinda understand where she's coming from, since I myself don't feel that I'm entitled to one half. Now to what my husband did yesterday. As I said, my husband is very angry with me, and yesterday I knew the full extent of it. I received a delivery to my brother's house. A beautiful gift-wrapped box. Inside, beautiful lace underwear. My size. Thank goodness my brother and sister-in-law were out on their usual walk and Sunday brunch, because I broke down crying. And I cried for 2 hours straight. After I calmed down, I knew that my husband, after coming to his senses, would regret his very petty actions and would start reaching out to me. When my brother came home, I told him that I was going to visit my best friend and that he couldn't tell my husband where I was. My brother knew something was wrong because my eyes were still swollen, but he respected my wishes that I didn't want to talk about the details. So embarrassing. I just told him my husband did something hurtful and that he would try to apologize once he calmed down. I was right, because my husband went to my brother's house asking about me because I wasn't picking up or answer him. He called and sent me at least 50 messages. I didn't read any because I had muted my phone. I also called in sick. Today my husband apparently showed up to my workplace hoping he would see me there. I'm so devastated and angry. I start crying the moment I'm alone. Why did he think he needed to hurt me even more? Wasn't cheating on in my own bed in the place I felt the safest, my home, enough humiliation for my husband? Why does he hate me so much? Just because I followed my broken heart and filed for divorce? I thought he knew me. I thought he knew I always followed my heart, or I wouldn't have married him in the first place. I was so close to putting the underwear on and blast Instagram with pictures of me in them. Or better yet, in my CK gray cotton ones. I'm happy I came to my senses and put my phone aside. Is the pain I'm feeling ever going to go away? Okay, I did something petty. I made an IG story with my CK, face not shown, with Beyonce Cozy as background music. I know I'm going to regret it because of the pettiness, but right now I feel a rush. About the underwear I received yesterday. I'm not gonna burn or return them or cut them. I'm going to use them next time I'm having relationships. That's probably what my husband intended for me to do with them. I'm going to oblige. I'm not American. In my country it doesn't matter if he had the property before or after we got married. Everything we own together or separately is joint property and will be divided 50-50ths. My husband doesn't seem bothered by this, yet. I think he's busy trying to figure out how to stop the divorce altogether. RN. His family, on the other hand, are more outspoken about the division of the assets. They're also trying for an annulment. Last petty update. I have now spoken to my husband. We talked about the practical things and I told him that from now on he could talk to my lawyer. He asked me if he could see and talk to me in person. I said no. He then told me that he knew my IG story was for him. He said he was sorry for what he made me feel. He always thought I was beautiful and it never had anything to do with my underwear. I said I know. He apologized for sending me the lingerie. He said he was angry with me when he did it. I said I know. He asked me to burn or throw them away because I'm beautiful even wearing a potato sack. I told him that I was going to use them the next time I have relationships. And I will remember him and thank him for the confidence boost. He went silent for a few moments and then said, I deserve this, I guess. I have cried since this morning. I feel like a child fighting a petty fight, but I'm done now. Nothing more to say. Why do people always say that their cheating meant nothing? Isn't that worse? That you threw away something real and wonderful for nothing? It reminded me of this, Ross. The important thing was that she meant nothing to me. Rachel, and yet, it was worth jeopardizing our relationship. There are basically two schools of thought on cheating. The cheaters who think, you can't possibly leave a long-term relationship over cheating. The relationship is worth more than random relationships. And the reasonable people who realize, if a relationship is worth more, you shouldn't destroy it for some random relationships. The first group basically relies on everyone thinking that way too, that their betrayal, lies and everything else that goes with it can be forgiven, because the other person has wasted a lot of time and effort on them, more or less. And in their next breath they blame their spouse. You were never available. Because you were taking care of our 4 kids. You got carried away and got fat. Pregnancy does that to a body. You were so depressed and didn't want to have sex. Because your mother had just passed away. You never wear nice underwear. Because they are tremendously uncomfortable. Oh, that's so sad. Poor OOP, blaming her underwear for her lack of character. I always roll my eyes at in-laws who immediately start protecting assets and highlighting the injured party, i.e., don't you feel entitled to half of everything after 2 months, type comments. The mother has to stand behind her son. He is the one who made the decision to risk giving up half of his net worth for some nice thongs. He just didn't think he would get caught. 100% he was cheating all along. You don't wake up one day 2 months after marrying your partner of 4 years and decide to find a random love. What a bad piece of person to have an affair 2 months after getting married. That just makes it likely that she was cheating throughout the relationship. I hope she got half of all the assets just to teach her that actions have consequences. He didn't buy her lingerie because he didn't want to offend her by suggesting it, but instead he opted to stick his cucumber in another woman's hole because that's definitely better. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that reasoning,